Bitcoin saw a huge pump yesterday. A lot of people got extremely bullish, but I'm actually quite bearish. And in today's video, guys, I will share with you my brand new short idea on Bitcoin, but I'm also going to share my brand new swing long idea on Solana. Higher time frame, nothing has changed for Bitcoin. We are still potentially deviating beneath this range low level. But short term, guys, I'm expecting some more downside first before we are going to reclaim the range low. Now, the main reason why I'm expecting some more downside is due to this most recent pump that we have seen over here. How so? Because, guys, that pump happened and occurred over the weekend. And I've taught you guys, and I've made a video on this. If you guys want to check it out, make sure to check the link in the description, that we can never ever trust news pumps or pumps that take place over the weekend or pumps that take place during bank holidays. Now, this is a pump that took place over the weekend, and therefore this low over here, the low that we formed over the weekend, is acting as a major draw on liquidity. Now, while getting this pump towards the upside, we also took out previous week's high right over here. The price of Bitcoin was also tagging into this strong supply area right over here, and Bitcoin was once again mitigating that liquidity pool that we had been building up over here last week's weekend. So the weekend 2 weeks ago, we have been building up a lot of weekend liquidity over here as well, and Bitcoin has now been mitigating that liquidity pool from the previous weekend, once over here and now twice over here as well. Now we know, as I said, those weekend lows and those weekend highs, once we see strong moves over the weekend, they always act as a draw on liquidity. And therefore, in my opinion, I am not going to turn bullish on Bitcoin until we take out this weekend low over here, and also until we take out yesterday's low right over here. Those are two major draws on liquidity in my opinion for Bitcoin. Now, this also aligns with my higher time frame view, because what we can see is that Bitcoin is slow grinding towards the upside over here. Now, a lot of people are currently looking at this rising wedge pattern right over here for Bitcoin. Now, what I'm potentially looking at is to get a potential fake breakdown of this rising wedge to trap a lot of people into thinking that we are going to get another leg towards the downside, and instead we are going to get that fake breakdown out of that rising wedge pattern. We sweep some of this internal liquidity that we have been building up over here, and also over here. And once we sweep that internal liquidity, and once a lot of people become extremely bearish over here, that's when the price of Bitcoin reverses and potentially is going to reclaim this higher time frame range low level, and potentially is going to squeeze towards new all-time highs. Now, first, we need some more short-term downside for that, as I said. How are we going to execute a potential short intraday trade on Bitcoin, anticipating and executing based off this bias? Now, as we can already see, is that Bitcoin is getting a bit of a break of structure to the downside right over here. Is that necessarily enough to already call a top? In my opinion, it isn't. I think for now, there's still the probability that Bitcoin is going to squeeze towards new highs and then get a push towards the downside. We cannot rule that out of the question. How so? Because we have Monday's high right over here for Bitcoin. Now, what I'm currently potentially looking at is to get a potential strong high in between our 12 UTC and in between our 14 UTC. We all know that this is a very strong time period for Bitcoin to put in strong highs and strong lows for the New York session. Want the real secret to winning trades? It's all being shared right here on this channel, so make sure to like and subscribe to not miss out. And once we put in that strong high, or potentially that strong low, but I'm obviously looking for a strong high because I'm looking for potential short executions. That's where I'll be looking for potential shorts on Bitcoin once we get the confirmation, once we get this break of structure to the downside after putting in that strong high. But only getting the break of structure to the downside isn't enough. What I'm looking for is to get a break of structure to the downside over here, and then once our 15 starts over here UTC time, I want the price of Bitcoin to make a new session low over here during our 15, our 16 or our 17, and then I'll be looking to short the pullback over here with my invalidation above that session high right over here, and then I'll be targeting that weekend liquidity that was formed on a Saturday right over here. Now, we know that we never ever want to be greedy with our take profit targets, so that's why I'm not going to take profit all the way at this obvious low over here. No, I'm going to take profit at this low right over here. This is my main draw on liquidity. So I'm waiting for this intraday short trigger to present itself, in which I'm awaiting a bit of a pullback for Bitcoin. Then I'm waiting for Bitcoin to form a strong high in between hour 12 and in between hour 14. Then I'm awaiting a break of structure to the downside and a new session low to be formed outside of the hours 12 and 14. Once we form that new session low, you can market short Bitcoin as long as your RR is decent towards this draw on liquidity with your invalidation above that session high, and then you are targeting this draw on liquidity over here around $84,000 for Bitcoin. Despite the fact that I'm looking for shorts on Bitcoin, I'm also slowly looking for swing longs on Solana, because what we can see over here is that Solana is trading inside of this beautiful range over here. Now, what I'm potentially looking at is for this range low level to hold and this little deviation beneath that range low to hold as well. What I really like about this deviation is that the price of Solana swept this low over here, but it was front running this very obvious and very strong low over here. So this low was being protected while we were sweeping the actual liquidity pool beneath the low right over here. That is one major sign of strength by the bulls, that we were holding on to that low. Now, when we narrow the time frame down to the 4-hourly time frame, there's a few things that in my opinion are extremely interesting, and also why I'm looking for a potential high time frame reversal on Solana. What we could see is that over here the price of Solana got a strong impulse to the downside. That strong impulse to the downside was being followed up by a slow grind to the downside. As always, guys, to thank you for your support, I'm once again giving away a free 1-month membership to what in my opinion is the most authentic trading community in the space, Tribe Capital. All that you need to do in order to participate in this giveaway is comment down below the word try, and the winner to this giveaway will be revealed in the coming days on both my Twitter account. You can find the link in the description down below, but I will also reveal the winner through a YouTube community post. And then we were seeing a very strong push towards the upside right over here. That strong push towards the upside was putting in a valid break of structure. But as I have touched you guys, once you see strongly downtrending moves like this over here, as we were seeing on the price of Solana, that first reversal structure often turns out to be a trap. Now, what was strengthening this thesis for Solana was the fact that this pump over here, that was at the end of the day giving us the break of structure, was taking place over the weekend and was taking place over some news that was being released because Donald Trump was saying some stupid shit again. Therefore, this break of structure could not be trusted, but a lot of people FOMO'd into long positions over here on Solana, or they FOMO'd into long positions up on the pullback. Now, those longs were placing their stop loss beneath the low over here, therefore engineering a major liquidity pool. What we can see is that once the price of Solana swept that liquidity low, right over here, that low carries a lot of significance. That low then once again brought us to a lower high over here, and then we formed a lower low over here, making this lower high that brought us to that lower low a very significant high to break. How so? Because also the low that brought us to that high, this low over here, carried a lot of significance because that low swept all of the liquidity beneath this low over here. So once the price of Solana was opening and closing candles over here above this high, we were seeing a high probability break of structure, and therefore this low should now be protected by the bulls for Solana if we want to remain bullish. But the thing is that we don't want to blindly enter into longs over here with our invalidation over here. There's a 21% stop loss, but it's not necessarily the percentage of the stop loss why I'm not entering longs just yet. I always want to enter where other people are getting stopped out. Now, when I narrow it down to the 1-hourly time frame, I can see that for Solana, I have a major weekend liquidity pool resting right over here. So I'm personally not interested in longs until we take out the liquidity pool over here. Also, I can notice that we have some more liquidity that was building up over here beneath these lows as well for Solana. So there's some more liquidity resting over here, and as I said, I'm not interested in opening up swing longs until other people are getting wrecked. So what I'm looking at for Solana is to get one more dump, which also aligns with my short-term bearish bias for Bitcoin. I'm looking to open up swing longs once we take out the low over here with my invalidation over here. And then, guys, I'm targeting that range high liquidity pool
right over here. So when I apply that range high once again, we can see that around that range high level over here, we have some major liquidity resting, and that's the liquidity that I'm targeting with this swing long position for Solana that is based off this higher time frame range, and then the 4-hour triggers, structures and confirmations, and then I'm looking for the 1-hourly time frame to execute my trades where other people are getting stopped out. And you can even use these lows right over here for a potential second entry with the same invalidation, and then also the same target for Solana. From the first entry it offers a beautiful RR of 4.77, and from the second entry it offers an even better RR of 11.55.
So let's see if we indeed are going to get that short trigger on Bitcoin. Let's also see if we are going to get filled on Solana. But guys, to end off today's video, I'm going to ask you guys for a quite little favor. I'm going to ask you guys to like, to subscribe, and then I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace!